Hi guys, today we're going to do something a little bit different, and this is something that I feel like I've seen on so many channels and so many genres of YouTube where people will tell ChatGPT to pick out or do something for them. So I've seen ChatGPT pick out people's outfits for a week, pick out what people are going to eat for a week or for a day or whatever, and I was like, what if I asked them to pick out how to do my makeup? So that's what we're gonna do today. So as you can tell, I've already done my base. I'm gonna let it pick out my eye makeup, my blush, and my lipstick colors, and we're just gonna see. So I've kind of played around with the idea of asking it questions before. If you don't know what ChatGPT is, it's basically how would I even explain this? It's basically a robot. It's an artificial intelligence machine on the computer or on the internet. Wow, that was a very bad explanation, but I think you know what I mean. So basically this thing is super smart. You can ask it anything and it will just spout out answers that are amazing. So I wish I had this when I was in school because I would totally use it to do my homework. I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. That would be so helpful. So basically, I'm going to start with the eye makeup. I don't know what I'm going to use. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be able to screen record and show you when I'm typing and stuff because I'm not that good with editing. I don't know how to do that. So I'm basically going to ask it here, please come up with a colorful eyeshadow look. Thank you. So I'm going to press enter and we're going to see what it says. Now, I'm going to do it step by step. I'm not going to read through everything before I kind of decide how to do things. So I'm just gonna go ahead and press enter and we're gonna see what it says. So I'm gonna screenshot the instructions here. There's a lot. It's really going crazy here. Jesus Christ. Okay, this is a lot. Okay, so it says a sunset mirage is what we're doing. I'm actually just gonna start by priming my eyes and then we'll take a look. So I guess we're doing a sunset look today, which could be kind of fun. I mean, I'm not mad at that. I think it'll be a good time. The only thing is when I've asked them questions before, to come up with stuff, the way that the order in the steps that they make you do is a little bit I feel old school. I feel it's gonna ask me to put the shimmer on the lid first and then blend it out with crease colors, which is the opposite of what I normally do. So now that I have primed, let's go ahead and see what the first one says. So it says, start by applying a matte peachy orange shade all over your eyelid. Okay, that is not at all what I would normally do. So let's see, a matte peachy orangey shade. Where would I have a good one of those? I'm just gonna look in my Blendbunny palettes first. I'm not seeing exactly what it is that I'm looking for yet. So I couldn't find what I was looking for in my Blendbunny palettes. I'm actually gonna use this one. This is the Club Nebula palette that Angelica did with Kaleidos, and it has a really pretty peachy orangey shade here. So we're gonna start with this one. I have no idea how this is going to go. And like I said, I have not read any of the other instructions. So we're gonna do one step at a time and see where this takes us. So we're gonna just put this all over the lid. I don't know if I'm gonna blend this out. I'm probably gonna blend it into my crease a little bit, I guess, if I had to make an assumption here, because I do want this to be, actually, let's just put it on the lid and then we'll read the second instructions after and see if it tells us to blend it out with something else maybe. So now that I've done that, I'm gonna read the second step. I'm not gonna do anything else until I know what's next. So it says, layer a shimmery coral shade on the center of your eyelid, blending it slightly with the peachy orange shade. Okay, so I'm just gonna stick to this palette, I guess, because there is a shimmery, peachy, corally shade here. So it basically wants me to just put this all over my lid, where I have this, I guess. So should I blend this at all? Not sure yet. I can go in and do that after, I guess. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pick that up on the same brush, just a flat brush. I'm gonna spray this a little bit though with some Fix Plus, even though it doesn't say that, but that's just how I like to apply my shimmers because it'll make it a little bit more poppy. So we're just gonna go ahead and put this all over. I mean, so far this is a very, very simple look. I was kind of hoping for something a little more intricate, I guess. Maybe if I do this again, let me know if you want to see that. I can ask it for a more artistic look, or maybe a graphic liner look or something like that. But I mean, this is pretty. It's not how I would normally do my makeup, which you guys know I'm much more of a transition shade, deepening shade, lid shades kind of gal, but we'll see where we end up. I still have no idea what else is on that list, so who knows? It might go crazy, it might not. So we have that applied. We're gonna move on to step 3. Let's see, apply a pop of metallic gold or copper eyeshadow to the inner corner of your eyelid to add a touch of luminosity. Metallic gold or copper. I'm gonna definitely pick a gold because I feel that's gonna be light enough for what I want. So one of my favorite gold shades is in the Blendbunny All Done Up palette. So I'm gonna use this shade right here. I think that's gonna look quite nice with this look. I mean, so far, it definitely understands like which colors go together. So I guess that's a good thing. And I think if you're kind of stuck in a makeup rut and instead of doing like a palette bingo like people used to do in the past, this could be a good way to kind of, you know, spice things up and maybe get a more of a cohesive look and someone to come up with something for you that actually makes sense, that isn't just completely random. So I'm gonna just put my own spin on this and put it a little bit onto my lid as well, because that is what I would normally do with my inner corner shades. So I'm gonna do a little bit just right there. So I think that's looking good so far. If it doesn't tell me to like blend anymore into my crease, I am gonna go back in with that matte shade and just make sure I blend it up a little bit higher and get a better, smoother blend, because it didn't really tell me to blend very much. It just kind of told me to put the shade down, so that's what I did. So let's see what step 4 is going to be. Oh, okay, so it says crease. It says define your crease with a matte, warm terracotta shade. Apply it with a fluffy blending brush and focus it on the outer corner, sweeping it slightly inward. So basically it's going to be on the outer corner of my eye. Let's see, it wanted a warm terracotta shade. But terracotta is like red though, right? Like, could I just use a red? A warm terracotta. So I feel like the color that I found that's gonna work the best is in the Smoking Hot palette from ColourPop. So I'm gonna grab this shade, which is very much like an orange-based dark red shade. I think that's sort of like what a terracotta is. I don't know. I'm hoping that's gonna work. So it does say to use a large fluffy brush, but like knowing my eye shape, I'm gonna use more of a medium-sized fluffy brush, but this like to me would be a large. So we're gonna focus it mostly on the outer corner of the eye and a little bit into the crease. So we're just gonna use this as sort of the deepening shade here. Probably just a little bit like this. I don't think it said to put it very much in the outer corner of the eye, just mostly in the crease, sweeping it upwards, so that makes sense. So basically like this. Let's see. Define your crease using a matte, warm terracotta shade. Apply it with a fluffy blending brush and focus it on the outer corner. Okay, so it's going to go in the outer corner as well. So just a little bit in the outer corner of the eye. Still hasn't said anything about the lower lash line, so we're leaving that open for now. I mean, that looks pretty, right? So let's move on. Okay, so now it says outer V. Deepen the outer corner of your eye by adding a rich matte burgundy or deep plum shade. Form a V shape by extending the color slightly onto your upper lash line and blending it into the crease shade. So I'm gonna use a matte burgundy shade because that sounds fun. So I guess this is like a mix between a burgundy and a, what did it say, a plum shade. I'm gonna grab this shade. I think that's really pretty. It's from the Lure palette from Blendbunny. It's called X Marks the Spot. And so this is gonna go in the outer corner, I guess, and a little bit onto the lower or the upper lash line. So I'm gonna focus this a little bit more just to like add some depth in this. I might have to go in and blend that crease shade just a little bit more for my liking here. So a little bit onto my lash line as well in a V shape. I'm not sure I'm like really getting that V shape very much. I maybe put it onto my lid a little bit too much. So I think this is pretty much where I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna take just a little bit more on a smaller brush here and just put it sort of onto my lash line. So like maybe that created more of a V shape. I'm not really sure. I feel like I just wasn't precise enough with this. And it's hard when you're used to like doing your makeup one way to like start doing it a different way. But we're gonna call this good, and we're just gonna kind of move on. I can always go in and perfect this after. So it says next, lower lash line, smoke out your lower lash line with the same matte burgundy or deep plum you use in the outer V. Apply it along the outer 2/3 of the lower lash line. Okay, that's easy enough. So I'm just gonna take that same shade underneath my eye and only put it in the outer 2/3. Which is what I would usually do with like my eye makeup anyway. So I feel like Like at the end of the day, this is gonna turn into being the kind of look that I would normally do, but just in a much more complicated order and too much layering for my liking. Like I really feel like it's just so much easier to start with the mattes and then do the shimmers after, but that could just be me, and it's fun to like try it different ways. I feel like I've watched videos from like makeup artists and stuff, and I feel like they tend to do it in this direction more than like, you know, the popular thing to do these days is. I definitely feel like with Instagram makeup or just like social media makeup in general, people tend to go in with the mattes first. So I think I'm just gonna leave this. It doesn't say anything about like shape in the outer corner. So again, I'm gonna, if it doesn't tell me to like blend again in my crease, I'm gonna go in and just blend this up a little bit more with the first shade, just to get it the way that I want it to be, because right now it definitely needs a little bit of blending. I'm just gonna smoke this out a little bit here with a fluffier brush. So it says, on the inner third of the lower lash line, use a bright shimmery gold or champagne eyeshadow to make a contrasting pop of colors. I mean, we basically already have that, so I'm gonna take just a little bit more of that shade, I guess, underneath my eye. So I'm reading next here, and it says, highlight, apply a shimmery champagne or light gold shade to your brow bone to highlight and lift the area. Light gold shade. I think I'm just going to use the one in the Noctilucent palette from Blendbunny, and I'm just going to take the yellow shade here. This is the kind of shade that I love using as a brow bone highlight because it's like very sheer and sparkly. It doesn't say anything else about the eyeshadow, so I am going to go in and just perfect this blend the tiniest amount just to get like the shape down, and I feel like that's totally okay and something that you can absolutely do just to make sure the look ends up being the way you want it to be. So I'm just going in with the first shade that I put all over my lid here, and I'm just gonna run this in my crease just to get a bit of a better blend here and pull it up a little bit just so it suits my eye shape more. And I can also just perfect the outer corner a little bit. Taking a little bit of that terracotta shade as well. Again, just to make sure that the blend is looking good. And I mean, look, I like this look. I think it's very, very pretty. Now, what I would probably do is I would go in with the shimmer again and intensify that a little bit, because I feel like for my liking, it needs a little bit more oomph. Let's see what's next. It says eyeliner and mascara. Line your upper lash line with a black or dark brown eyeliner, creating a thin wing if desired. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that with my flower nose eyeliner. So we're just gonna do a thin line. Create a very small baby wing. It says finish with a few coats of mascara on both your upper and lower lash lines. So I guess no lashes today, which is totally fine. It's been a while since I've done a no lash look, and it actually says lips and cheeks underneath, which I didn't even ask it for that, so it's almost like it knew. Like it knew. That's so scary. Like I was literally gonna ask for lips and cheeks, and it just knew that I hadn't done that already, and I wanted it to help me. I am a little freaked out. Just a little bit. And also it didn't say anything about anything in my waterline, so I'm just gonna pop some nude eyeliner in my waterline because I feel like it just kind of completes the look, and then I'm gonna do some mascara. Now let's see what it wants me to do next. It says keep the focus on the eyes by opting for a neutral or nude lip color. A peachy nude or warm terracotta shade would complement the eyeshadow nicely. That sounds right up my alley. A nude lip? ChatGPT obviously knows me very well. I'm just kind of wiping off my lip balm here, and then I'm gonna do a nude lip. I'm just gonna line with a little stub of my Natasha Denona lip liner, which I am definitely going to run out of this. I'm gonna use the Pillow Talk liquid, what is this even called? It's like the lip gloss stick thingy. And this one is in the shade Pillow Talk. It is my favorite. It's such a beautiful, beautiful nude shade. So let's see, for the cheeks, apply a warm peachy blush and a soft champagne highlight to complete the radiant look. Peachy, warm peachy blush. So I guess we'll go with this one from the Blendbunny palette because that is a very warm peachy blush. I think that seems like a good idea. This one is very pigmented though, so I'm gonna try to be a little bit careful with applying this because I don't want too much, but thankfully it is like the lightest shade in this palette, so it should be okay. And it doesn't say like where to place the blush, which is nice because it basically means I can do whatever I want, and I think this was a good choice. I think ChatGPT definitely knows what it's doing when it comes to colors, and this has been really fun, honestly. Like, I would definitely do this again and like ask a different question because there are so many things you can do with eye makeup, right? Like, you can tell it to do like a festival inspired look, or like, I don't know, a date night look, or really whatever your little heart desires, and it would probably come up with something that would actually make sense. I'm gonna do a little bit on my nose too, even though it didn't tell me to, because that's what I like. And a warm champagne highlighter, I'm gonna take the shade in here, which is the Holiday palette from mcgrath. Absolutely no one is going to be surprised by this because I love it. And this one is not available anymore. I know, I'm sorry, but I just think it's so pretty. A little bit on the nose, and that's pretty much the look. Let's see, are we done? Remember, bold eyeshadow looks are all about having fun and experimenting. I love ChatGPT. Feel free to adjust the shades and intensities according to your personal preferences and the colors that work best for your skin tone. Enjoy creating your stunning sunset mirage eyeshadow look. That was so fun. I mean, this turned out great. Like I said, if it was up to me, I would have done like the orders a little bit differently, but the finished result looks great and I actually really like it. I think you did a great job. Let me know if you want to see something like this again, and if you have any ideas for like what to ask it, if that is something that you are interested in seeing again, let me know. But yeah, let me know if you've tried this. Let me know if you're going to try it. If you try it, let me know how it goes. I'd be very curious to hear. Yeah, that's pretty much going to be the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching as always. If you want to see some similar videos, I don't really have any, but here's another video you might like. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.